drawing a dragon emerging out of that egg. This is one of my major illustrations from book 4. And this is the illustration that I'm just drawing at the moment, which is clearly the egg, but in this moment of creation. When, after hundreds of years of being inside the egg, the dragon begins to wake up and to know it needs to be outside. In the story from book 4, titled Into the Dark Realms and Deception, the dragon has been inside the egg, asleep, yet, though it is asleep, it can hear. Over the many years, people have come to look at this place of dragon. And at first it was just a few people, but then they became pilgrims as they talked about this huge egg and a dragon who must have been its mother, who was now turned to stone, silent, unmoving. Years and years and years went by, and the first little hostel was built, and eventually more houses were built, square, towers. People came and were called the pilgrims of dragons. They built the towers, and each tower was a collection of memories, of drawings, ideas, hieroglyphs, histories. Sightings of dragons were recorded. Remains of dragon bones were brought there. And so it went on. Hundreds of years this built. And my travellers in this modern time of their life of 1263 in the lands of the realms of elsewhere, Samsey, Maisie, and Little Grace appear, and over they come out of a forest and they look down at this extraordinary sight. And within a few days, it has to be said that Samsey discovers his connection with the city, and particularly with what's in there. This egg is full of crystal, and the dragon, waking up, begins to remember all the things that it's heard in the years it's been inside, slowly forming. For that is the way of dragons. And because in my world the dragons are a force of good, they protect the world, and in particular, they protect the light. And so the dragon starts to recall the conversations that it heard while inside, apparently asleep. It starts to hear about the world and how it's being destroyed by a shadow lord, a once immortal who found a stone with a destiny in it that was called a hidden destiny, a shadow destiny. It hears this and knows what it is, that it is a protector of the light. And the other dragons are the same. And it was now time to wake up, to go out into the world and fight for the light and anything that was connected with the light. As the dragon comes out, sniffs the air, and senses the wind blowing to the south, and knows that's where it needs to go. It throws its wings outwards. The remains of the egg shatter, and out it comes, into the clouds, heading towards the sun. For many days it flies, and sees wonders that reflect what it already knows. A desolate world, yet a world of hope as well, and that it is part of that hope. It knows it, and goes onward, and comes to Postdromic, a land invaded and almost destroyed. Yet there is something there. It knows there is something hiding. And it lands on a pillar in the center of that city. People come out of the office blocks, out of their houses, screaming, fearful. They see the dragon that they only know of in stories, spoken of in secret, for dragons are outlawed, as is all light and magic and creativity and future. They speak of it in corners and shadows, and they know that the dragon means that something has changed. Something is about to begin. Beneath the city, there are hidden secrets, and that is what the dragon seeks now. On the pillar, it calls out, and those who generals of the invaders, they go and get their dragon guns. Let's spill dragon blood, they say. But as they said, as they go marching down the street towards the pillar at the center of the city, with the dragon sitting there, unknowing, a girl is watching, a street urchin, begging in the street. Only that's what she's meant to look like. She turns on her heel slowly, picking up what food she'd been given, and goes down an alleyway. Without looking behind, she knows she's being followed. For those who rule the city are fearful of those who are different, that they do not understand, who are not registered. She goes down an alleyway, familiar to a little corner, an apartment where she will sleep, rough. Only that's not what's going to happen. As she turns a corner in this alleyway, a brief moment she is out of sight from the one pursuing her, a policeman. As she turns, a door opens in that corner, and standing there is someone who looks just like her, dressed like her, hair like her, disheveled like her. They pass one another in an instant, and the door is shut, and the changeling is standing there with the food that she was given, and goes up some steps now seen by her pursuer, and fumbles with a key, and enters that apartment, and sits in a window deliberately, and begins to consume ravenously the food that she was given in the street by a passerby who was not at all. And the policeman reports, makes notes, and still she eats. But as for the real urchin, by now she's down flights and flights of stairs, down through tunnels and hallways, until she begins to smell food. real food, hears voices. Here, beneath the city, far, far beneath the city, is another world. Here live the uprisers. They have been born here, they have died here, and they go on believing that one day it will change. Life will change. And she passes them as she enters a street and another street, houses there, market there. She enters the great market. There are people smiling in her direction, pleased to see that she is still alive. She who risks her life going into the world above. She enters the market square where the daily life is going on, bartering, making, selling, the people with the people. Everyone trusts everyone, for this is the place of hope. And then an old woman comes up to her. "He's waiting for you," she says. "He cannot wait any longer. He is fearful of you and wants to know that you are safe and what your news is." She thanks the old woman and continues out of the market to a huge doorway, double-doored, and beyond a massive hall. There a throng of uprisers and a great stone seat, and sitting in it, sitting there, is the Palladian, a god himself. When the gods had had a ship sailing across the world, it had crashed against the shores of Porthstromic. And the remains of that ship are still there to this day. The wheel, the mast, the hull, the keel, now the shapes of rocks being crushed against by mighty waves. All the gods had died, save for one, the Palladian. No one believed that anyone survived, but he did. And now he sat there as she entered. And he looked down at her. "Ah," he said, "I have been in fear of you, fear that you have died." She looks up at him as he lays his hand on the ground before her, and she climbs up into his hand. And he raises that hand up to his face and stares at her. "You are one to be proud of," he says. "I fear that you will one day not come back." "You mustn't worry about me," she said. "I know what I'm doing." "Very well," he said. "So what is your news today? What news do you bring?" "Such news," she says. "Such news." And she gets closer to him, and everyone is listening. For they know that this is a moment, suddenly. In all the weeks and months she'd been going out into the city, risking her life, she had never come back like this before. There was something about her. "So what is it, my little one? What news?" "I have to say, I have seen a dragon. A dragon has landed in the city. It's sitting on a great pillar, calling out." "Ah," he said, and he raises his great head and he looks at all the people gathered there. "So it has begun. The uprising." can now begin. The dragon is awake. And that is a major part of the beginnings of book 4 in the 9-book series of the Realms of Elsewhere. And this is the dragon. Yes, a dragon egg and a dragon coming out of it. And this is the major illustration that is going in book 4. And yeah, so this is what I do, and this is what I've been doing for 50 years. Well, I hope you don't eat a dragon egg. That would be interesting if you did. Anyway, thank you for being here. This is a tiny little film today. It's a tiny little story, part of a very big story of 9 books. You can go on my crowdfunding page, which is crowdfunder.uk, and it's creating a trilogy of fantasy books. Anyway, I will be back again